Hey, good morning, Facebook. How's Facebook out there? Glad you could be here. Glad you could be here. That's better, I guess. If you're on, tell me that you're here. That'd be great. Check. Check. There we go. Hey, Val. Good morning. Miss you, hon. Been thinking about you. Here we go.
Good morning, Sun Prairie. Time to rise and shine.
What?
Time to pour the coffee with Bill.
He wants to be human.
Time to rise and shine with Bill.
He has all the ingredients for disaster.
Time to get going with Bill.
He is phenomenal.
Welcome to Baker Street with your host, Bill Baker.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Good Morning Sun Prairie. I'm your host, Bill Baker, and glad to be here. Glad to have you join me this morning on a ducky kind of day. Well, you guys have been asking for the rain, and so that's what we've got. We have rain this morning and flash flood warnings. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. That's okay. We need the rain, right? We need the rain, and it'll be good for us. It'll be good for us. No complaints. Hey, got a good show planned this morning. It is Breakfast with Tiffany. We are on the second Monday of the month, which means that Tiffany Schultz from the Better Business Bureau will be in studio a little bit later, and we're going to talk about school scams. School scams. Can you believe that? School scams. They happen from primary to college. We're going to talk a lot about the college things. I mean, with college, with the kids stuff, we're going to talk about back to school tips. Paper or plastic? You know, when is it time to move your teen from paying with cash to using a credit card and working with those responsibilities? And then we're going to talk about the 6 scams for college students to avoid. We're also going to talk about tips on hiring a tutor. And if there's concern, if you need help out there with homework, how should you go about hiring a tutor, and what's the best choice for that? And then if we have time, we'll go to we want to talk more about the student loan forgiveness, because there are some scams that are out there that are not very, very nice at all. But going to catch up on a few things, but let's do this. You're listening to 103.5 WLSP, The Sun, right here in sunny, wunny, ducky Sun Prairie this morning. We're underwritten by those wonderful folks at the Bank of Sun Prairie and, of course, the Baker Realty Group. Glad to be a part of the organization. Let's do this. Let's get started, and as we do for every single show that we do in the last going on 8 years now, let's go fishing with Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, right here on 103.5 WLSP. Get your coffee, get your tea, get up. Good morning.
Yellow moon coming up tonight, shining through the tree.
Woo! Good morning. morning, good morning, good morning to everybody. Val, how are you this morning? Who else is joining you this morning? Who else is there? I see somebody. There's several of you on. Let me know you're here, if you're there. There we go. Well, it's an interesting time outside, right, Facebook? I mean, it's rainy, it's ducky. We asked for this weather. We needed this weather. My yard definitely needs this weather, so we're getting it. We're getting it. Big week this week for everybody that is in Sun Prairie, lives here. You know it's Cornfest week. If you're outside of Sun Prairie, yeah, you know that it's. You need to know that this is our biggest week, and it will be one of the most stress-filled week for people that are involved with service organizations, chamber, everything. And starting today. How's everybody doing out there? Let me hear it. Hello, Tiff.
Hello.
Good morning.
I thought I was your second guest.
No, that was last week.
That was last week?
Yeah, they came in last week.
Oh, they did. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
You know?
I'm glad I'm early. Well, actually, on time. I tried to pull up your show on the way over here. What are the colors?
103.5.
103.5. Okay. I did go through them and it wasn't coming in. So.
Oh no. Well,
No.
let's just check.
I could have been a little bit. Well, it was right before 7 too.
Oh yeah.
So it probably didn't.
It would have
go-
been like elevator music.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, they do elevator music. I mean, oh.
Okay, that's the problem, because I thought maybe I really pouring out there.
I know. Holy buckets, right?
Better than wildfires.
Or, yeah.
We should talk about that.
You want
About donating to Maui.
to? Okay, cool.
We have some good helpful tips for that.
Okay.
I'll just pull everything up.
Yeah, now he's gone.
Well, Lahaina's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big portion of the tourist area. My husband and I were talking about maybe going next spring break, not 24, 25.
Yeah.
Well, now it's kind of like, well, what's it going to be like, you know? I've been there before, so
Have you?
yeah, we went for our honeymoon, but we wanted to take our kids back.
Yeah, we're on. I have never been to Hawaii.
You
Of
haven't?
all the places I've been in the world, I've never been to Hawaii.
Paradise.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about some things here in town, and then we'll get into it.
Okay. Well, let me give 'em a few minutes to get set up here. It's Monday morning.
Good to see you, by the way.
It's early. It was hard to get out of bed.
4 o'clock this morning.
4? Oh no, no.
I went to bed at 10. I took a nap in my chair.
In your chair.
Yeah. I fall asleep all the time in my chair about, 8:30. Woke up at 10. Terry's sound asleep on the couch.
My husband calls that pre-sleep.
Yeah, it's getting a snooze in.
That's not my thing. I don't sleep well, like, if I have to get up and
Yeah.
he thinks it's wonderful, but not my thing. So I lock everything up, and I'm like, don't you lock this place up? Like, you just leave it wide open?
Yeah.
You get up at 4 every morning?
4:35, whenever my body says get up.
Ugh, that's early.
But normally about 4:30.
That's early.
No, my body says get up. Sometimes I take naps. I need like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 minutes.
If I eat lunch at home, then I'll take a nap. A lot of dings over there.
I know, it's from starting my computer up from over the weekend. It's
Oh,
got
jeez.
a Chrome notification, so like
Oh, my
every
gosh.
news story. I don't know how to turn it off.
Well, it's probably in settings and turn
So-
off notifications.
Sometimes it's something, that I want to read, so,
Oh, I know.
you
Oh.
know,
Isn't that weird?
like, okay, I want to read that, so I'll take a minute to read it while I'm working.
That's why I have so many, like 26,000 emails I haven't answered.
And you really think you're going to get to all those?
Nope.
Okay. So, what do you want to talk about for back to school?
Oh, it's in front of you, that sheet there.
Oh, okay.
Back to school tips,
Yep.
things like that.
Okay. School tips. Okay, I'm gonna pull all these up so I can just flip when we're going.
This is a big week,
It's a big week.
huge week.
Football,
Football, Corn Fest.
Corn Fest.
Mhm.
My daughter is performing at the Wanakee football game.
What's that?
My daughter's performing at the Wanakee football game.
Oh, is she?
Wanakee versus DeForest, yeah. She's doing a little cheerleading thing.
You know, Wanakee will not allow us to broadcast.
Why?
Don't know. They could have 100 different excuses, but they said, no, we won't let you into the broadcast.
So, what do you mean by that?
Normally we can come in as the news crew
Yeah.
to film and broadcast the games on K-Sun
Yeah.
for all the families and everything, and Wanakee is saying no.
Really?
Yeah, Mukwonago said you can only do radio.
Interesting.
I know.
Find tips for hiring.
All right, here we go. A little bit of radar. How about that? I can't even talk this morning already. A little bit of radar love and golden earring right here on 103.5 WLSP, The Sun. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a stroll down Baker Street. And today it is Breakfast with Tiffany. And that is where Tiffany Schultz, she is the regional director for the Southwest Wisconsin Better Business Bureau. She comes in, she does her little bit of spiel and tells us all the things to avoid, the scams and all that, and things to think about before we make purchases, which I think is really important. But So we're going to talk to her here in a few minutes and chat about what's going on with the Better Business Bureau and in that world. And before that, let's talk about Sunshine Supper. Got Sunshine Supper tonight. Don't forget, it's Monday night. Monday night means Sunshine Supper. Right down on Main Street, right across from the Stark Realty offices. And when you come in, go around to the back of the building. There's going to be somebody waiting for you, probably in a rain jacket today. They're going to ask you how many meals you want, and they'll write a number down, place it on your windshield. You'll pull around the building, and then a runner will come out and place those meals into your car for you. About 450 meals a Monday. I think 45 is the largest number that has ever been achieved. I'm not sure. Could have changed since last time I checked, but the numbers are huge, and it's there. You need a meal, they've got it ready for you, and that's what I love about this. This program has been around for many, many years now, created by Julie Wiedemeyer in her master's dissertation about having a meal with everybody in Sun Prairie and bringing community together. What a beautiful plan that she had for this. And then COVID happened, and what we had to do is, instead of having everyone inside the building with music and musicians, listen to me, magicians. Tiff, my mouth's not working.
It's Monday morning.
Oh my gosh, I love Mondays. It's just not working here. But so a lot of activities indoors. That was about 150 to maybe 175 people. And then as you see, we jump up to 485. So we knew there was a need. We took the entire show outside and made it available because we knew that there are people like you that are listening that just you need a meal. You need a little help. You need a hand up. And so we're glad to do that. So that's going to start at 5 o'clock today. It'll run till 6. I would get there about 4:30. And sometimes the line starts to move about 4:45. So don't be afraid to get there early. Now, as I was saying earlier today, earlier this morning, this is a huge week for Sun Prairie. We've got things going on in this town that's going to keep you busy like you can't believe, because this is our biggest week of the year for the city, for you as the residents. It's one of my favorite events. It's one of the things I love to talk about. It's Cornfest, but actually it's football. Gotcha. You thought I was going to talk about Cornfest. It's football. We start football this week. Sun Prairie Cardinals on Thursday. Sun Prairie Wolves on Thursday. The Cardinals are at Monona Grove, and Wolves are at Madison West. Yeah, our stadium's going to sit empty this week, but it's going to happen. And I'm excited about it. Mike Powers and I will be bringing you the call on KSUN and on 103.5. All home games will be TV and radio. And then most of the games will be TV. We have our KSUN channels. Until September, we'll be on KSUN and then Kids 4. So check your programming on Charter or Spectrum for those channels. I know they've changed them a little bit, but I want you to make sure of it. And also don't forget that there is an app. If you go to your favorite app store, go in and search for SPMC, and that is the Sun Prairie Media Center app. Get on there and you can see all of the channels, and then all TV channels, which there are 3 total, and then the radio channel also. It's fun to be at a football game when people are listening to the game and watching it in person. So we got a great season coming up. I think after our interview last week with Coach Kaminsky, that this Sun Prairie Cardinal team is going to be pretty darn good. We've got some great veterans that are coming back. I love saying that, veterans, for high school kids.
Alumni.
Well, no. They're veterans. They're now seniors.
Veterans. Okay.
Yeah, they're seniors now. So we got Drew Kavanaugh. We've got Sam Estrenga. We've got Connor Stoff. We've got Logan Gross. We've got Alton Williams. I mean, we've got a lot of people coming back that are just going to be key to this organization, and I can see them doing a pretty good job. Now, if you remember last year, we ended the season at Kelmoraine, and it was a game that I will never forget because I have never seen rain that hard and blowing that hard ever. It was blowing, and what do I mean by that? Now, playing football in the rain is fun, or it can be fun. When you're a passing team, it can hurt you. But I'm telling you, 20, 25 mile an hour winds. The rain was blowing sideways. We had 2 cameras that we wanted outside. One was in the end zone with Mark Carson's. Then we had one up above us in the press box that was on top of our press box. Jameson Rabbit was running that one, and we couldn't do it because it was raining so hard that we couldn't get a connection to the cameras. And then inside the booth where Mike and I were sitting, the window started fogging up, so we ended up having to open a window, and then the rain's blowing in, and all this rain is coming in on the electrical devices, as I like to say. And that definitely could have been a shocking experience. It was not, thank goodness, but it was something else. I'm going to say this, and I know. You're going to do it. You're going to tell me as soon as I say this. If it hadn't rained out there, if it hadn't rained, I think we would have won that game. Yeah, I know we would have won that game. One of their kids from Kettle Moraine, Nolan Shop, had his performance of a lifetime. Had 201 yards and 3 touchdowns against us. The kid has broken 100 yards once. And so that game and the structure and all that. But got a lot of things happening. Drew Kavanaugh will go from an H-back to quarterback. And then we have all of our receivers out there. And it's just going to be a wonderful year for the Cardinals, for sure. Now the Wolves, we're going to a little questionable there. But that's okay. Jameson Rabbit will give you all the information about those guys. And also Mark Carson's, he's a part of that. And you saw the pregame with the coach. And so we have to see what's going to happen with those folks. They had a lot of their kids graduate this past June. And so it may be a rebuilding, plus a lot of new coaches that are out there. Now, football. As I said, did I tell you it's a great week? It's a great week because it's now 14 days till Badgers. Badgers football. Did I say Badgers? I love me some Badger football. Nothing gives me more thrill than to going to a Badger game. And I love the entire activities around it and visiting with people, tailgating, and then going in and watching the game. And we have some very special seats. Terry and I have very special seats. Tiffany, we sit in the pirate section.
The pirate section?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. You know where that is?
I don't. I've never been to a Badger football game.
Shut your mouth.
I've lived here for 18 years, and I have never made it down there yet.
Well, I may have to fix that. I tell you. The pirate section is section R.
Makes sense.
So we're looking forward to that. That game is going to be on Friday night instead of Saturday. It's against Purdue, but it's going to be away. So we will be playing football here in Sun Prairie. By the way, the football game this week for Sun Prairie is Thursday night. And again, Monona Grove for the Cards and Madison West for the Wolves. So, getting ready for that. Can't wait. It's going to be exciting. Football. I've already been prepping for Thursday. I can't wait. Kills me.
Football kicks off the fall season.
I was watching the NFL channel, and Terry's like, "Oh God, it's not that time of year again, is it?"
Did you notice some of the trees are turning already? The tops of the trees.
Trees.
Yep, that means football's right on its way.
Yes, I love your thinking. That's kind of cool right there. Okay, concerts in the park. Don't forget about that at Wetmore. 6 o'clock on Tuesday night. Still going to happen. It's going to be a very nice week. Thursday, there might be a chance of rain. We're going to cross our fingers that changes and that there's no rain on Thursday. Hey, here's something I want to talk to you about. And having one of the big bosses from Better Business Bureau, this will be a good subject for to chat about. The Mega Millions. I didn't win.
Neither did I.
Damn. But I bought 20 tickets.
Did you get a number?
I don't even know because I haven't looked.
You could be a few $1,000s richer.
Or it could be $2 richer. Get my money or some money back. I know. But it's just funny, the hysteria that happens with this, isn't it?
You know, if something is on the line, something that people can win, they're all for it, but we need to watch out for those scammers too.
Oh, well, what kind of scams would there be for that?
But there's that big scam that's going around with Manuel Franco. Every time there's a big Mega Millions or some type of large jackpot, there's scams that center around Manuel Franco because he was the big winner from Wisconsin who did end up giving away part of his winnings to random people.
Oh, sure.
And scammers took advantage of that and they impostered him. So every time there's a big jackpot, you're going to see the story about Manuel Franco come out.
Wow.
Watching for these scammers who are trying to get your attention to give away so-called money that doesn't exist.
Well, I've read things, I've listened to things about if you win, what you should do is go to your attorney. But you should go to an attorney that is well versed in lotteries. The first move. And then the next move is you may want to move to Florida or someplace like that, I don't know. Or Las Vegas where there's no state tax, property tax, I guess. And then also you start your list of what you're going to give family members.
Sounds like a good idea.
Well, who said I got to give anything to my family members?
I think the first thing that's most important is to review your options with an attorney who is experienced with this. Not every attorney specializes in something like this, winnings, inheritance. You want to make sure that you're working with somebody who can help you.
So, exactly right. They're going to help walk you through this process because, like I said, it's going to be, your life is going to change. Overnight, your life is going to change. And you're going to have family, friends, you're going to have cousins on the second side of your mom's brothers, sisters, uncle that are going to come out and they're going to want money for that surgery that needs to be done that they can't afford. I mean, people are going to come out of the woodwork, right?
Right, that's how it works.
Just like the professional athletes when they go from college and now they're professional and they just got a $20 million payday for a signing bonus. They've got more relatives now at that point than they ever did in their life.
Sounds about right.
It does. Here's something that bothers me about the lottery. So who's putting on the lottery?
The state of Wisconsin.
There you go, right? So they're going to put it out, let's say $1.5 billion, okay? So they're taking tax dollars, they're offering you tax dollars, and then what are they going to do if you win?
Give it away?
No, they're going to take it back.
Well, through taxes, yes.
But it's already been taxed once, now they're going to give it out, then they're going to tax it again, and back and forth, but they're going to take half of it.
But that's why it's important to work with a financial advisor who can help you through that process and make the tax implication as minimal as possible for your situation.
People say, well, you're only going to get like $700 million. They're like, only? Yeah, but you're giving away $7.5 million in taxes.
I could do a lot with $700 million.
I know, but I think the state's being greedy again. Come on, man. $700 million. What would you do with that?
What would I do with it?
Yeah.
Well, Bill, Hawaii could use some help right now.
Oh, we were going to go to that? No, don't transition yet. Come on, we're having fun.
What would I do with it? I'd probably do a lot of investing, work with my financial advisor. What is the best course of action for me? I don't know if I'd change my life overnight. I just don't think that would be the right thing to do because we see so many people who do that and then end up upside down years later because they weren't financially responsible with it. So I think that I kind of need to work through my options, maybe buy a vacation home somewhere. I may quit my job down the road, but until I had all my ducks in a row, I probably wouldn't do much.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a little bit conservative when it comes to that. What would you do?
I would bless a lot of people, a lot of organizations, and I like to give. And my mother used to say, I give too much, which I don't know if you can ever give too much, to be honest. Time, talent, and treasures. My three things I love to do. I think that would probably be my focus on that. What would I do? I would be jumping and screaming and hollering, and I'd make everybody comfortable that I could and help people. I think that'd be cool.
But don't jump too quickly. You need to get your ducks in a row first.
Yeah, I hate those ducks. You know me. No, you're right. You're exactly right. And I'm a planner, so I'm very strategic most of the time. I could drive you crazy with some of this. It took me. I love to tell the story. It took me one time a year to buy a camera, a digital camera. First, when the big ones were coming out, so I have a Nikon, but I kept waiting and doing my homework and checking my lenses and what do I want. And all. A year. It took me a year to get that.
Well, that is a larger purchase if you're spending a few $1,000s on a nice camera, so that makes sense. You know, it takes me, I've been looking for a new car for probably a good 6 months already. And
have you?
I have been, and can't make up my mind because I really don't need one yet.
So what kind of car would you get?
I'm looking for an SUV, like I have. I have
Okay.
kids, so I need space. I need 3 rows. Right now I drive a Dodge Durango, so
Nice car, nice vehicle.
I may replace it with that or a Jeep, something similar on the Jeep line.
Okay.
So, but I definitely need the space for my kids.
I could see you in an F-150.
Truck's just not my thing.
Oh, come on.
No.
You should see how big it is in the inside.
My husband drives a Dodge Ram,
He
so
does?
they're very similar.
How'd you go from F-150 to Dodge Ram? Oh my gosh.
He's a Dodge guy. I drive a Dodge, he drives a Dodge, so.
As I always go, I drive a Ford F-150. Don't haul anything, but it looks like I do.
Not a bad vehicle, but
it's great.
my husband likes Dodge because they're easy to work on, and he feels very comfortable with the Dodge brand.
Mine's easy to work on too. I take it down to Metro Ford. They take care of everything.
That's awesome.
I can't complain. It's the easiest car for me to work on.
Metro Ford is an accredited business of ours, so
They are?
They meet our 8 standards of trust. So you know they're great partners of ours.
Well, that's good to hear. I like that a lot. They do me good. I like getting the works done and all that stuff. Good organization. Hey, Cornfest, are you going to be going to it?
I'm trying to get there this weekend.
How many times?
Probably once our schedule allow us to.
Okay.
We're getting into the busy kid season, so we got a lot of things going on this weekend, but probably get there Saturday or Sunday.
Those darn kids always getting away.
You know,
What is it with that?
You get 18 summers with them, and that's it, and you need to fit everything in, plus your own things, and you know, 'tis the season. We're headed back to school, and lots of things are going on in the communities around us.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly right. We're going to get to that in just a second. Let's talk about Sweet Corn Festival. That's going to start on Wednesday of this week. We're going to start with a parade down Main Street. It's going to kick off at 6 p.m. So get down there, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your blankets, set your chairs up, and get ready for the parade. And at the end of the parade, down at Cannery Square, there's going to be a block party featuring the Dirty Birds, the band The Dirty Birds. Great band. I know you're going to love it. There'll also be refreshments, or there's going to be beer and sodas and food and all that. So that's going to be the kickoff for Chamber of Commerce's Sweet Corn Festival. Don't forget that the Sweet Corn Festival supports 5 different organizations: Sun Prairie Lions Club, Sun Prairie Exchange Club, VFW Post 9362, American Legion 333, and then of course the Chamber, of which Tiffany and I are members. She's one of the board members for the Chamber. I just happen to be an ambassador, just a little bitty ambassador.
That's where you need to start, Bill.
Oh, one day I might grow up to the board. You never know. I hope to grow up like that one day. But it's fun. We're having a great time with our chamber. I got to tell you, I am tickled beyond my wildest dreams about what Christina Williams and her staff has done, along with the board and all the members. This organization is kicking it, as they would say. We're working on getting to 500 members, and that's one of our goals. And I think we can do it. We're over 400 now. I don't know the exact number.
Way over 400.
Yeah, 450 or something.
We're going into 500. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head without looking it up,
Yeah.
but well on its way. And the Chamber has done some amazing things here in the community.
I will tell you that the Chamber, being a member of the Chamber, has helped my business, but more importantly, me being on the Chamber, I feel has helped other businesses. And the reason being is I'm interacting with them all the time. I've gotten them on the air. A couple of them are letting me help them with their business, just because of my background and all that. I wasn't always a realtor. This is my second career. But my financial background and being a distributor, I did that. A product manager, we actually manufactured products. So it's fun. I have a great time. And if you're a business owner and you're listening right now and you're not part of the chamber, you're missing out big time, because the networking and that interaction will make your business better. Now, speaking of that, Cornfest brings business to Sun Prairie. That makes us a destination city. And so you've got from the 16th to the 20th to really hang in there and grab a hold of those clients, those customers, those visitors that are going to come in. It could be Faded Roots. It could be Eddie's Ale House. It could be Full Mile. It could be Buck and Honey's. It could be anything, any of you businesses out there. If these folks are coming in, they want to be in Sun Prairie. They're going to stay overnight primarily, and then really take advantage of what we have. But on Thursday, the carnival starts. You're going to get a wristband, $30, unlimited. Kids can just ride and throw up all night long. Cotton candy, corn dogs, throw up, go get another ride. Do you like the rides?
I can't do rides. I get really motion sickness on rides,
Yeah.
but every year we go. My kids love it. They're running between the rides and having the time of their life. So
When you were a kid, did you ride them?
I did,
Oh,
but
me too.
something changed within my body chemistry. I can't do it anymore. Like, I just get super motion sickness on any type of ride, really. Even if I'm riding in the back seat of my own car, I can't do it. I need to be in the front seat.
Oh my gosh, that's something else. Same with me, same. I'm a big scuba diver. I've got over 500 dives. I get seasick. So I'm loading up on Dramamine. Get me on that tilt-a-whirl, I'll be on my hands and knees coming off that thing. But remember, as a kid, we couldn't spin fast enough.
That's right.
That's something else. Now, on Friday night, the carnival wristbands again. You have unlimited rides and all that. Live music will start that night. The beer shelter opens. Super Tuesday is the band, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget that corn does not hit the place until Saturday. Friday night you can have grilled corn, but you can't have steamed corn until Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, corn, noon to 7 p.m., corn eating contest, which our own Jameson Rabbit is the champion, defending champion. He said he's been working on his stomach just to make room. He did, I forgot, 8 ears in 10 minutes or something, or no. It was a crazy number. I mean, it was absolutely. But Jameson Rabbit is the world champion, corn eating champion for Sun Prairie.
That's a lot of corn.
Oh, that's a hell of a lot of corn. Family entertainment starts, the family entertainment stage. Live music that night at 7 p.m. on the main stage. Kings of Radio. If you've never heard Kings of Radio, you're going to love these guys. So get there and enjoy the Kings of Radio. Now, Sunday is the biggest day. It will be packed, and you should be there. La Movida is the band. They're going to be there at noon. There's 2 more bands, and also DJ Miranda. There'll be dancing, hot pepper eating contest, family stage again, and of course, Cornfest racing that night when the gates open at 4 p.m. for all the racing. So it's going to be, like I said, it's a big night for Sun Prairie, a big week for Sun Prairie. We're going to go through 80 tons of corn. OMG.
It's a lot of corn, and I do know that from last year there wasn't very much corn left over, if any. So they had a really good run on corn, and the weather is supposed to be perfect, Bill.
Well,
for Cornfest.
It's going to be in the 90s. It's going to be perfect.
Perfect.
I know. I'll be parking cars and helping in the chamber booth. Oh, and broadcasting. I said to somebody the other day that I should just get a tent, a little pup tent, with a sleeping bag and a pillow, and just stay there.
You were voluntold, weren't you?
I was voluntold. Well, the voluntold director right now is somebody that I know very well.
So do I.
She kind of lives in my house.
She's been coming to all the networking events, too. Recruiting
Actually,
more volunteers.
I actually live in her house, I think is the way it is. Because she said once we got married, what was mine became hers.
That's how it always goes.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
And if she doesn't like it, you don't like it. That's how it goes.
Oh, my gosh. You're scaring me over here, I tell you. But it's going to be fun. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be broadcasting on Saturday morning from 7 to 10 at Farmers Market. Then I'm going to roll over to run up to Angel Park, set up everything over there, and we will broadcast right from Angel Park. I believe Jameson Rabbit and I are on first in like a 2-3 hour block, and we'll be bringing you all the updates, news, and stats of what's going on about Cornfest. And then I go and park cars from 2 to like 6 or something, 2 to 5.
Well, I don't think it's going to be that warm out there. I mean, it looks like high 70s to high 80s, so
Okay. I can do that.
it might be a little, on the warmer side, and some of those hours, but you should be okay.
I'll have sunscreen on. Yeah, I'll be good.
Bring your umbrella for shade, and
Oh yeah, with my little stick as I'm directing traffic. Come on in there! Get that car in there! Back it on up! It's fun. We have about 80 people that do that in the Lions Club. It's our only mandatory meeting, so they've got to be out there to help us get cars parked. We collect the $5 entry fee for cars. Car full of people. You could be a van full of people. You could bring a church bus full of people. It's $5. If you walk in, it's $1.
we've always parked on the street.
Have you?
We have. Yeah, we always get there late, and
Oh, you do?
we kind of just have our parking spot on the street and walk on in. It's a good walk, especially after you've filled your belly at Cornfest.
Oh, that's true. Now, do you park at the main gate or in?
We come in over by the rides.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool. So you're over there.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, there are 2 entry points. Cars parking will be on Highway N out by the high school. All the visitors will be parking in, or volunteers will park in the high school. Not sure how that's going to work, but we'll see.
There's a shuttle bus, I believe, for
Yeah.
the volunteers.
You just got to plan ahead.
Yep.
Plan ahead.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see how it's going to go. But I'm excited about it. I'd love you to come out to Cornfest. Come see me at the booth. Say hi. Say you saw me here or heard it first on the radio. And would love to, again, have you there. It's a great event. A lot of activities. And please, please, please do not miss this chance to experience one of Sun Prairie's biggest traditions, and that's Cornfest. Tiffany Schultz is the Southwest Wisconsin Regional Director for Better Business Bureau. A friend of mine. We've met at Chamber of Commerce and came up with this idea to do breakfast with Tiffany.
We've been doing a lot of networking together.
We have. It's good.
It is, and it's even better when those connections make more connections. Like you're able to connect somebody with somebody that you met through the chamber.
Exactly.
It's happened to me over and over and over again.
It is fun too, isn't it?
It is, and we always get to experience a new business on Friday morning.
That's true. That's true. We've had some really good ones, and Ash was the newest one that I know of. I wish I could think of the name of her company. She's a massage therapist.
Yes, she's over off of Lois Drive, I believe.
Yep,
I
she
can't
is.
remember the name of her company either, but we always have new faces
Right.
at the Sun Prairie Coffee Chat.
So this past, the coffee chat was cool. That's Fridays at 8:30. Different locations. We were at the Razor's Edge.
Razor Sharp.
The Razor
Neat
Sharp.
place.
Oh my gosh, isn't that great?
They're making the Cornfest t-shirts.
They are.
And those are pretty cool.
I don't know who's making them. Is it John or the Ghost?
That's a good question.
It's haunted in there.
I saw that staircase, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then I didn't really realize that building is,
Yeah.
over 100 years old. And I'm like, ooh, I'm not sure if I could, work in this place.
You don't think so?
No, even if Casper's up there, I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Hey, something about the Better Business Bureau is if you're thinking of buying something, I want you to check the BBB first. The BBB scam tracker has prevented consumers and businesses from losing an estimated $21.2 million to fraudsters in 2022. And if a little bit of homework helps you, you should do it. And knowing this lady that I've gotten to know, I know there are some things I should not have done before I bought stuff online through social media. And if I'd known her before this, I wouldn't have been stuck. Okay, several times.
Always do your homework
Oh.
before you do business with a company. Don't I say it every week, Bill?
You do.
Do your homework. It only takes a few minutes to head on over to bbb.org. Check out that business you're interested in doing business with. What do we have to say about them? Things do change overnight, unfortunately, sometimes. And it's so important, not only when you're spending thousands of dollars on a home repair,
Right.
but even if you're purchasing online. Online retail scams are the #1 scam that are out there in the marketplace. This is the 3rd year in a row. So before you hit that buy button on a website you've never heard about it, check it out. It only takes a minute.
Our own Mark Karstens got nailed, and he's very upset about it. He very much violated, and a great young man, and they've locked him out of his Facebook account. I mean, they took it over. They have his login and his password. He clicked on a link on social media. Now wait, there's more to the story. So he's trying to decide what to do. He's going to set up another Facebook, and it almost happened again. He almost clicked on another link, and right at the last second, he stopped and thought about what he was doing before he did it. But and I can't remember what it was that exactly that made him do that, but it was an enticement, just like a lot of things that are out there, and but it nailed him, and it got his information.
There's phishing attempts out there for all sorts of different things, including Facebook. They want your login credentials, and they make it seem real. I had something really weird the other day on Facebook. I had posted some soccer cleats for sale, and then I got a message back stating that if I didn't put my login credentials into Facebook, that I may be banned from Facebook Marketplace. It was just really, really weird, and I just ignored it because I'm like, well, this doesn't seem right. And sure enough, I don't think it was right. But scammers are very complex, they're very sophisticated, and they want to gain your trust. And if something sounds real, most of the time the consumer will follow the steps the scammer wants them to take. Yeah. So always be careful before you enter any type of login credentials, not only for Facebook, but your banking passwords, your employment logins, your healthcare logins. You want to be sure that you are working with that legitimate site.
Capital One, I have a Capital One card. They gave me a number to use for online purchases that's different than my regular credit card number.
Interesting.
And they did that as a fraud prevention tool.
Companies are jumping on fraud prevention, and they're joining the fight and being a fraud fighter. Our Scam Tracker tool is partially sponsored by Amazon. So they have joined the fight against fraud too. So these large companies, they're being impostered, and they don't want to be taken. They don't want their consumers to be taken. They want to make sure that the consumers are educated. Education is going to be the only fight against this. We need to watch out for those red flags of fraud. We can't sit back because the scammers are smarter than us right now.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't think Amazon does enough. I mean, not Amazon, I'm talking Facebook or social media, TikTok. They need to check out those vendors that are coming on there. There's got to be a way to do that because we know they're fake ones. We talked about the Colhan one last time or a couple times ago that I got nailed on, and because it really comes down. My grandfather just jumped on my shoulder, by the way, just to let you know, because he said, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
That was the first thing I was told in my interview at the BBB when I joined almost 5 years ago.
Oh my.
Our CEO told me, you're going to get really tired of saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Oh man, but you got sometimes you gotta take a risk. No, never take a risk. Always check.
Always do your homework.
Always do your homework. You say that so often that your kids are probably checking out their teachers. They're going to the BBB and going, Mrs. Jones. Oh, I see. Oh, she gives a lot of homework. Mom, I need a new teacher. Speaking of kiddos, let's talk about school because that's what our show is today. Let's talk about getting ready to go back to school. What's going on with that? You're telling me that there are scams for getting ready to go back to school, your school stuff and all that?
There's always scams about everything, and we can talk about loan forgiveness. That's a big one right now.
Yeah, we'll get to that one.
We do want to talk about tips for going back to school.
Oh,
because
yeah.
Every parent that's out there is preparing to send their kiddos off to school in a few weeks, including myself.
Well, and so do you buy stuff online? Do you buy their books all their folders and pens and everything online, or do you go local?
It really depends. So I did my back to school shopping a few weeks ago, and I do prefer to shop local when I can. So I went down to our nearest Walmart, and all their school supplies are in the front aisle, and I purchased everything that I could, but there were some really obscure things that were on the list. For example, headphones. I bought my son a few pairs last year, and he just didn't like what I kept coming home with from our local suppliers here, so I ended up going to Amazon. He really liked that pair. My daughter needed a pair, so what did I do? I bought the same pair from Amazon because they did work and they lasted. And that's what's important during the school year too, is that they're plugged in and plugged up, taken out so often. Sure. That the little plug-in breaks throughout the year. You want to make sure that you have a heavier duty pair that's going to last you throughout the school year, because the last thing you want to do is your kid comes home and says, "Mom, I need new headphones." So
how about just go to the dollar store and buy 20 pairs of them for $20?
But sometimes those just don't fit very well. So, and then there was a calculator that I could not find in the stores here that I had to buy on Amazon.
A calculator?
Yes, a specific calculator, a Texas Instruments for 6th grade.
Oh, they're still using TIs?
Yes, for 6th grade. I don't know. I'm sure it's something else for 7th grade, 8th grade. You probably have to buy a new one every year, but it was a specific one I just could not find in the stores here.
You got to calculate tangents. You got to. There's a lot of things you got to calculate with those.
I'm not going to be able to help with math homework anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's beyond my ability. And my son has a teacher. She is a former engineer, so math and science and physics are her thing.
Right. Hey, on your site it says, while it's improving, the supply chain issues and labor shortages can impact shopping this upcoming school year. When getting ready to shop, contact the store directly if you have questions about their hours, policies, or if supplies are actually in stock. Now, a lot of times the schools, from what I remember, now my kids have been gone a long time. I have a 28-year-old and I have a 38-year-old, so I can't believe I'm going to have a kid that's going to be 40 soon. Oofda. I just got old.
Those years went by fast.
Another gray hair just came in. But a lot of times the teachers will give you or the schools will give you like a list or a packet that you can actually buy. You can buy these bundles or whatever they call them. I can't remember exactly how that works, but I remember it.
Yep, you can buy them. It comes home at the end of the school year, and it's a school supply box. And whoever dreamed this up was, a fantastic inventor. All you have to do is pay for it, and the supplies come shipped to you.
Thank you very much.
I like to buy them in store, though. But, when we talk about supply shortages, always on the list, they say you need 3 green folders and 2 yellow folders and, 1 red notebook. Okay, how many stores do I have to go to find all these different colors?
Right.
So that's why I start early, too, so I can get everything at one shot.
Absolutely. Just get out there and get it done early, right? But there are people that wait. I know they are. I am not one of those. I like to get done early.
Yep, me too.
But you said in here, research big ticket items. So that the calculator is probably not cheap, that TI that you're looking for, or other things, laptops, iPads, things like that. Whether it's primary school or even college, and we'll get to those too, but we'll talk about college in a minute. But you've got to do your homework. Do your homework. Shop. Make sure they have it, first of all. And be careful ordering online with this.
Those big ticket items are so important. Sometimes the school is going to issue those. Other times you're responsible for purchasing them, especially if you have a college student. Don't overbuy either. So there's lots of options out there when we talk about tech on those big ticket items, whether you're buying a calculator, you're buying a laptop, you're buying a tablet. So buy what you need. If what you're buying doesn't have everything that your child needs, it's probably best to upgrade.
Sure.
Rather send them to school with something that just doesn't work for them. They're going to perform the best. But before you purchase, especially if you're buying online, check out bbb.org. There's a lot of fake websites that pop on up that are going to be offering discounted products on these big ticket items because they know parents are looking at these. Watch for items that rarely go on sale and that you can find for a good price online. You've never heard of the site before. Is it a refurbished product? does the site really exist? So if there's a brand and we know who that big brand is, they never offer sales on their products,
Right.
and you find something online and it's half the price, the red flag should go up that there's something wrong there.
Oh, sure.
So it's always best to see these products in person too. So again, go to your local store, even if it is your big box, check them out, talk to a tech
Yeah.
who can help you through this purchase.
Well, you know, a laptop, a computer, let's just use a laptop as an example, can be the most frustrating purchase to make because we're not computer savvy. We don't know all the gewitzets and doohickeys and thingamabobs. So I always buy Dell, and I'll buy directly from Dell. And I do that because I feel more comfortable, and I also feel I can go back and talk to Dell directly. But you have other places like Office Max or Costco or I think even Walmart. They offer a Dell product, but you need to know exactly what you're getting for the money that you're spending. So you got to be careful in that. Is it exactly what you're wanting, and are you getting the true value? Because sometimes they take things out. Memory could be speed. It could be a video card that you need, a certain video card, or sound that you need. And you've got kids that like to play games, and it doesn't have the right stuff in it, they're not going to like it at all. But
Right, especially if your child is taking a class where they're going to be doing a lot of uploading and
Sure.
they're going to be doing a lot of big files,
Sure.
working with big files on their computer, they're going to need something substantial. But, you know, if you have an elementary school student and you can get away with a Chromebook or
Yeah.
something less expensive, save the, more expensive laptop for down the road when they need it.
yeah, exactly. Shop smart with sales and tax-free weekends. A tax-free weekend? When did that ever happen?
We did have a tax-free weekend here several years ago in
Did
the
we?
state of Wisconsin. I was working in retail at the time, but that tax-free weekend has not come back, at least in my lifetime here, for while I've been shopping for my kids for back to school. But shop smart. Take a look at those sales.
Uh-huh.
Who's offering a better price? If you have to go to multiple stores to get, save some money, is it worth it? Ask about sales. Ask if there's a discount for signing up for their emails. Sometimes there is. Do you have a .edu email address? Do you have a student ID? Sometimes retailers offer discounts for that too.
How do you feel about the retailers that will give you an extra 10 or 15% off for signing up for their credit card?
You really need to be careful. What are you signing up for? So are you opening a credit card? Is it going to affect your credit rating? It will affect your credit rating,
Sure.
at least for a short term. Are you okay with that, or are you in the middle of a big purchase? What is the interest rate? How much of a balance do you plan to carry on there? Really weigh the pros and cons. Is that 10 or 15% worth it to you? If it is, it might be a great way to save some money. If it's not, that 10 to 15% may not add up to much with your purchase.
So it says on our list here, it says consider buying in bulk. What's that? What do you mean by that?
So I love this. So
Okay.
many times our kids need to head back to school with Ziploc bags, paper towels, Kleenexes.
Paper towels.
Oh, absolutely.
Does the school supply that?
Some schools don't, or some
What?
schools provide just a small amount and the parents are responsible for the rest. So
Okay.
if you are getting a long list of items that you need to bring to school,
Right.
consider joining up with multiple parents and buying in bulk. Go to your local wholesale club and split those purchases. It's probably a lot cheaper to buy in bulk and split it
Sure.
than it is everybody individually purchasing those at the store. I do know my kids need to bring Kleenex to school, and Ziploc bags, and paper plates.
Do you think they're going to use the Kleenex?
Oh, I'm pretty sure those, little kids go through a lot of Kleenex.
Come on. Really?
Oh, yeah.
They're using their sleeve. And that's just the girls.
And I like to buy good Kleenex, the Kleenex with the lotion, because those
Oh,
little
you do?
noses, they just get so
Oh, those
chapped
little
up.
noses.
Yeah, so, I'm a mom, and I usually send the good Kleenex.
If you're somebody that wears glasses, don't buy the Kleenex with the lotion.
That
Don't-
makes sense.
Don't clean your glasses with the Kleenex, which you will do. There's going to be a time when you're going to go, I got to clean my glasses. Okay, there you go. Oh my gosh.
Good point, Bill.
That's something. I like the lotion thing, but come on. Shop wisely and safely online. We talked a little bit about the clickbait already. But really can't stress it enough, I don't think.
Lots of phishing attempts that are out there. And one of the clickbaits too is you're scrolling your social media feed. Facebook, for example, maybe even Instagram, and you come across a must-have product, and
Right.
it leads you with a link to a page. The page that it's leading you to with that link may or may not be legitimate. It could be designed to collect your login credentials. It could be designed to collect your credit card information, but the site that it's leading you to is so important to check out. Does it start with an HTTPS versus an HTTP? Is it
that for secure? Okay.
It is, yep.
Yep.
Does it include full contact information? Are the prices too good to be true? When I say full contact information, I mean a company name, an address, a phone number.
Sure.
Google that address. Where does it go? Does it go to a real place of business, or does it go to an empty UPS store?
Sure.
I can't tell you how many of them go to an empty field or a UPS store.
Wow.
The scammers place ads on social media platforms to get your attention for must-have items, to lead you to their sites to purchase items that don't exist.
Well, businesses are pretty savvy right now with social media, and I'm smiling. I'm on radio, folks, and I'm just smirking and smiling a little bit. And what it's about is that go look at something. Go to Macy's or something and look at a blouse or something. Or I was just looking at a Tommy Bahama shirt at Macy's, and then coming back to Facebook, there's Tommy's Bahama shirt that I was looking at. I thought it was interesting. Then Macy's reaches out to me and says, I know you were looking at this shirt. Could we help you with that purchase? That was slick.
AI at its finest.
Oh my gosh, I tell you, I thought it was pretty slick. But they're working hard to get those dollars, because they're fighting for those digital dollars that you're looking everywhere for stuff. They know that you are, and so they're trying to capture as many dollars as they can.
So are scammers.
Oh, absolutely. They know you're doing it.
They sure do, and they're placing ads for those exact same items that you looked at
Right.
on the legitimate retailer site. So you really have to be careful who you're buying from.
So did we miss any of the tips? Did we get them all, I think?
We did get all these tips,
Are
but we
those-
have plenty of other tips.
Oh, we got more. So can we move to going a little bit older now?
We sure can.
Let's do that. And one of the subjects I put out here was paper or plastic, and moving your kids from dollars to either a credit card or to a debit card. How do you handle that? Have you had to do that yet?
My kids are pretty young.
Okay.
But I think back about when I was this age.
Sure.
And personally, I think that it's so important to build credit. And that's one of our tips here when we're talking about paper or plastic. We're not talking about grocery bags.
Right, exactly.
We're talking about cash or credit card. And what kind of payment form do you send your child out with? And are they ready to get a credit card? So we talk about credit cards, and by the time the child hits age 18, they should begin building their own credit history.
Sure.
Credit is so important, especially in the world that we live in. Cell phones, cars, anything that they're going to buy, you want them to have a strong credit history.
Sure.
But how do you move into that? How do you get them a credit?
Well, you
credit
teach
history?
responsibility first, and accountability.
You certainly do. But it's not such a bad idea if your child is responsible and fiscally responsible to get them a credit card. And when we talk about credit cards, we don't have to open credit cards with large balances
Sure.
and large credit limits.
Right.
Start with $100.
Yeah.
Buy a tank of gas.
Right.
Pay it off. I mean, these days, my car is $75 a week to
Right.
fill up. So, that $100 spending limit, if for some reason the child does default on $100, it's only $100. It's not like they have gone out with a $5,000 credit limit to make
Right.
purchases on. So get them that credit card to start building a credit history. The tank of gas.
Sure.
Maybe some school supplies or some items like that. But you know your child best. If you feel that your child can do that, that's great. But, if you don't feel that your child is ready, maybe you need to hold off for another 6 months or so.
Again, I think it's teaching, as school and life should be, it's about teaching responsibility and accountability and really honing that in, because this could be a huge learning opportunity. It was for Alex, our youngest, And he did a very good job. Now Alex worked, and I would pay for part of his gas, and I'd give him an allowance for gas and stuff for his car. We bought the car and gave him a credit card that he could use to purchase gas and that. But he needed to make sure that the payment was made. Money would go into his account, then he could make the payment on it. And we had the discussion, because I had to inspect what you expect is something that was a phrase that we love to say. And we would say to Alex, have you paid your credit card bill? Well, he'd say, it's not due yet. I said, that's not when you want to pay it. You want to pay it when you receive your statement or your notification that it's there, because that's going to give you a higher credit rating than it is waiting for it the day of to pay it, because you don't want to be late. You don't want late fees. You want to pay it off, and we want to get your credit up and going.
Now the online platforms make it super easy too. You can schedule it for when you want to pay it.
Right.
So if you get paid on the 1st of the month, the 15th of the month, you can schedule that payment well in advance for that payment to sweep off of your credit card.
Oh, absolutely. They're making it really easy. Now, I know a few of you parents out there right now going, a credit card for my kid? Well, you gave them a cell phone that's $1,000 already. Think about doing this, and I'll tell you why. If they're old enough where they're going to different activities, there's some activities that do not take cash. If you go to Bree Stevens' example, you probably wouldn't send your 12-year-old or 14-year-old to Bree Stevens for a concert. Well, you might. I don't know. But there's no cash. It's all credit card. And so you have to have that credit card to get a soda or a hot dog or whatever. And a soda is going to be about $10, but a hot dog's going to be about $9. But beer was $9 for a small one, $17 for a 20-ounce beer. It's like, holy crow.
That seems pretty standard across the entertainment industry.
Right, exactly. What we did also for Alex, we set a $1,000 limit on the credit card, and but he was expected to pay it off every single month. Like I said, he was working. He was a lifeguard, and he was making good money. Oh my gosh! I actually thought about going and being a lifeguard again, but I tell you. But he did a fabulous job. I was very proud of him, and a couple times he forgot. He missed his window, but that's all right. It's not about criticizing. It's making it a learning experience. But the credit cards, and then especially going to college, they got to have a credit card.
And one of the things, Bill, that I really preach about all the time is always use a credit card, not a debit card.
There you go.
That credit card is going to give your student additional protections that the debit card or a Venmo or cash will not. So if something goes wrong in a transaction, especially when they go off on their own, and maybe they're not as experienced as somebody who's been out on their own for a while, they make some bad decisions online, they make some bad purchases online, that credit card is going to cover them for fraudulent activity. So versus that debit card. So that's really a huge education point in using that credit card, is it's going to give you those additional protections that any other form of payment may not.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, we're at the top of the hour. You're listening to 103.5 WLSP, The Sun, right here in beautiful Ducky-Wucky Sun Prairie today. The weather is ducky. It's raining. They have flood warnings out. My yard's getting watered. I appreciate that. Hey, we're underwritten by those wonderful folks at the Bank of Sun Prairie and, of course, the Baker Realty Group. This morning we're talking it's Breakfast with Tiffany Schultz from the Better Business Bureau. She's here on the second Monday of every month, sharing with us the latest scams.
There's always scams out there.
And today we're talking about scams related to education or going back to school and to things for you to think about. Right now we're talking about plastic or paper or plastic and giving your kids a credit card or the process of doing that. And as she just said, limit the debit card because you don't have as many protections with the debit card that you do with a credit card. And so please think about that. How young for a credit card? Well, that's up to you and what you think. But it's a huge step in accountability and responsibility. And I can't stress that enough. And sometimes kids really get into that. They really like, wow, I have one now. Now they got to respect it.
It definitely could be a status thing for them. But it definitely shows responsibility too, especially if they know how to pay that off and they know that they can't overspend. So, for example, you go to Breeze Stevens and you have your credit card with you, and should I really get that dessert? Should I really get that extra soda? Do I really have the money to do this?
Right.
So, when you have cash, when your money is gone, your money is gone. With a credit card, it's a little bit different. Only you know your child best.
Sure.
Is your child ready for this? So,
Yeah.
Age 16 is great, especially when they start driving.
Yeah.
Maybe they have some car repairs or, that tank of gas.
Sure.
If you're more comfortable, you want to wait until they graduate from high school, that's okay too. You really just need to, go with your comfort level.
Yeah, we went earlier because we wanted him to have the experience before he went to college, which he didn't go to college. He went to the Navy, which I got to tell you what the Navy did to him. The Navy handed him a platinum American Express card. Now, if you don't have a platinum American Express card, let me tell you what it is. First of all, I want to say it's $500 a year annual fee, but it was waived for the military until you come out of the military, and it's $500 after that. It's not a credit card. The American Express card is not a credit card.
What is it?
It's just I don't know, it's a payment card, but it's not like one. You can't carry a balance. You're expected to pay your monthly, your amount, your balance at the end of the month.
Is it a P card?
I don't know what a P card is.
A P card is a purchase card. It works a little bit different than a credit card, and a lot of companies issue the P card versus the credit card.
Know. But so you have your standard American Express card, then you have your your bronze or gold card. You have the gold card, and then you have the platinum. There actually is a black American Express card, which that's at a level that's, wow. But you get a lot of different benefits with the different cards. But to have the Navy hand him, and when I say the Navy, it was offered to him because he was in the Navy to have a platinum American Express card, $500 a year.
I believe it.
I can buy everything I want on my Capital One card or my whatever other card, my other MasterCard that I have. I don't have any annual fees. I can spend exactly the same amount of money he can.
And you really want to be careful when you're looking at credit card offers too, and this is something that college students are enticed with, these credit card offers. What is that annual fee? And are you getting enough benefits to offset that annual fee? A lot of people tell you, well, I have this airline card and I get miles, but I'm paying $150 per year to have the card.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Is it really worth it? Or can you only use those airline miles on one airline? What if you want to travel on another airline or use it for your hotel? Are you able to do that? Really look at what those perks are giving you.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So you just got to be careful with it. But I think we should transition kids to credit before they get to college. I want them to be practicing with that card prior to going to college, because we know what happens in college. Food and beer and snacks.
I think I was about 17 when I got a credit card.
Did it? Right?
And I still have the original credit card that I started out with. I am like a 30-year card holder.
Wow. Wow.
Every year they congratulate me on my anniversary.
I didn't get a credit card until I was almost out of college. Everything was cash.
Do you feel like that hindered you?
No, not back in no. The early 80s and that? No, I don't. Everything was cash.
Times are different.
Right. But the thing for me is that, and today, I'm still more cash friendly. Yes, I have to use a credit card, but I always have cash. Always have cash.
I never have cash.
Never?
Never.
It scares me not to have cash.
I might have $2 in my wallet.
Oh my gosh.
In cash.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what to say.
I know. It's like I tell Alex, I'll say, take $100 bill, fold it up, put it in your wallet. Forget about it until that day you need that. It will happen. I'm someone. I'm more comfortable if I have cash. Yes.
My husband's a cash guy. He also likes to pay his bills with a check. He does not
what?
want with a check. He likes to pay his bills with a check. He gets his credit card statement in the mail. He writes a check. He writes a check to the utility company. He is a old school check guy.
Oh my gosh, I like him. The only checks I write are more business checks, and it's because I have to for some reason. I can't pay it online, or which I find crazy. But there are some people out there, they want a check.
They sure do.
You know, they want my check.
We could talk about checks and how scams, how scammers have taken advantage of checks, but that's probably for another topic.
Another time? Okay,
Another time.
We could do that. So with the credit cards, we need to be careful about shopping safe online, which we've already talked about, but securing personal information. And what's that about? It says, always question why anyone needs your personal information. Now that your child has more information to keep secure, educate them who is and isn't safe to share the information with. There you go. That's a interesting subject right there.
So scammers just aren't stealing your credit card information. They want other personal details about you. They may be looking for your banking information. They may be looking for your middle name, your middle initial, your date of birth. Once they have all this information, they can open credit in your name. And once a scammer has credit in your name, they can use that credit until you find out about it. When you find out about it, it may be too late. It may be down the road when you're trying to buy a car or when your child is trying to buy a house. A scammer can steal your child's personal details when they're just a baby.
Yeah.
And we think about this, when do they need credit? When would we ever find out about this? By the time we find out that your child's identity has been stolen, it's too late. Your child's credit has been damaged, and it's going to take a lot to get out from underneath it.
You know, the credit, this would be a different show too. Your credit scores, I think they're going to have to adjust things. I think the FICO and the way it was set up originally is old-fashioned today. And I think they need to really look at how they calculate those scores. It's very one-sided, by the way.
There's a lot of things that sometimes don't make sense. Like they tell you to use credit over a debit card,
right.
But then they punish you for having too much open credit, or your balance has been too big, or your revolving credit that's been put on credit cards is too much. So
right.
They'll punish your score, where really your score shouldn't be punished. So
right.
You're right. It really hasn't evolved with the times.
Yeah, and you get punished for a lower credit score. You get paid more for things. But then again, somebody that's got an 800 credit score and a 700 credit score, no difference. There's no difference.
And there's also programs out there that are helping people with lower credit scores, and sometimes rewarding them.
Yeah, wow. Really?
So the banks are working around some of those lower things.
Well, you got to help them. Don't
right.
hurt the people that are struggling.
Right,
Help
getting them back up there.
Right, exactly. And yeah, things will happen, and you'll see it fluctuate, and it bugs me sometimes because if nothing's changed, all of a sudden you'll see beep, you go up 5 points, boop, down 5 points, up 5 points.
That's because you charge that tank of gas.
Ah!
You have too much revolving credit out there.
Get out of here.
I'm not lying.
But see, 5%. Or a 5-point tick. That's crazy. Because we're living in a credit society right now.
Right, and we're going cashless.
Yeah.
And more places are requiring you to pay with electronic payment.
Oh my gosh! I heard something that there's legislation about digital dollars. Digital dollars. I'm like, really? I don't know if we're ready for that yet.
Digital dollars are going to cost the consumer more in the long run, because every time that dollar changes hands, so Bill, I pay you with my card, okay?
Right.
You have to pay a 2% processing fee on it.
Yeah,
you
why
take,
is that?
Because the credit card company is going to charge you to process that. So you're the person who's accepting my dollars.
Sure.
So now you're using those dollars at another establishment,
Sure.
okay? And they only take a card.
Right.
And they're getting charged 2% on that. And it just keeps rolling, 2%, 2%, 2%. But if I pay you in cash, there's no cost for you to accept that cash.
See?
So our the value of our dollar is actually going down when we have to pay that 2% fee to use that credit card.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But it's like, why that fee? Why 2%? It's the cost of using their business,
Right.
cost of using their card, cost of using the process. Does it cost them 2% to do that? Probably not. It's automated.
But they do need the equipment, so they have to pay the card processor,
Sure.
so the merchant.
Right.
It's just a different world that we live in.
Isn't it funny how you can go out and spend $1,000 on airline tickets and they don't require a signature, but you can go buy a mocha somewhere and you got to sign your name? What's that about?
That's a good point. The whole cashless society, I do think it's a good thing for safety reasons too. So we're not carrying wads of cash. There's not wads of cash in cashier drawers anymore. I used to work at a retail establishment, and when the drawer got to have too much money in it, a manager had to come take some of it out. And you went to the front of the store, you took the money out of the drawer, and you walked to the back of the store.
Right.
And I would have a few $1,000s in my pocket sometimes,
Sure.
and I'd be going from the front of the store to the back of the store. This was 30 years ago, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And anybody could see that I had that amount of money.
Oh, sure.
That's kind of scary today.
Oh, I agree.
Knowing that somebody could be watching for that, and as soon as you walk away, they grab you and take your money.
Well, it's funny that you say that because when I was in my late teens, I worked for Bamberger's, which is like Macy's in Pennsylvania, in Langhorne, Pennsylvania. And so Christmas time in the East Coast is just outrageous. And I was what's called an expediter. I was like a department manager, lieutenant. There was a department manager, and then your expediters ran the store, and that we did everything, merchandising, and we also took money to the vault, as they call it. But here we are in the middle of the room, and it's Christmas time, and we have a lot of cash in that drawer. Now we have to count it there, out in the open, and then take it to the vault all by ourselves in a little bag. And now, I mean, today that would be nervous as hell doing that, but it was amazing. I mean, people put it in paper bags to walk upstairs to the vault.
I did that at a grocery store. At the end of the night, I had everybody's drawer in my drawer, and I walked it down to the bank at the end of the grocery store. You wouldn't do that today.
No.
No way. But it was, I was 18 years old, walking the money bag down, and didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, it's a different world out there today.
So a cashless society isn't a bad thing,
Yeah.
if we think about safety features,
Sure.
but we do need to be aware that dollar is costing us more
Sure.
to transact between myself and you and the next person.
Right. I think we should call them Gavitzins. I'm dialing for Gavitzins. It's my new thing. It's one of my favorite words, Gavitzins.
Gavitzins.
The other one is, my other favorite word is probably.
Probably.
Instead of probably,
Probably.
probably.
Okay.
No. So let's talk about 6 scams for college students to avoid. College students must spend money on tuition payments and school supplies to prepare for the new year. However, scammers are taking this opportunity to try and steal some of that money through various schemes and scams. One tactic used to get students' personal information is phishing email that claims to be from a school's financial department. Wow, really?
Scammers love college students. Lack of experience, and just because you have a .edu email address doesn't mean that the phishing attempts aren't going to get through. So again, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, but a scammer may send you an email with a link to click on. They want your trust. They want their email to seem real. Before you click on that link, hover over the link. Where does it go? It's going to tell you what website it really goes to. The website it really goes to probably is not the website that it looks like it goes to. So once you click on that link, a few things could happen. It could go to a legitimate site. It could be a real email. It may not be. Always check the email address that it's coming from. Don't rely on the sender. So if it says that it's coming from your school, but it's really coming from a Gmail account, it's probably not legitimate.
Oh, yeah.
You click on that link, it could download malware and spyware to your device. Once your device has malware and spyware on it, they can get anything they need off of your computer. Think about what we do online. We pay bills online, we do our work online, we do our schoolwork online. Scammers having access to our device is a really scary thing.
It really is. I mean, you just got to be careful out there.
Right. Or it could lead you to a fake website.
Sure.
Gaining your trust, something that you need. Maybe it's a bill that it looks like it's coming from your school's bursar's office, and it tells you that your tuition is past due, and it leads you to a fake site to pay your tuition. So they want to collect your personal information at that point. So they want your credit card information, they want your address, they want your name, because once they have that information, they got you. They have a lot of pieces of the puzzle to match up with other information that they have online.
Right.
So be really, really careful. If you get an unexpected email, you don't know where it came from, you should be questioning it.
Fake credit cards. This is the first one out of the gate. Fake credit cards. Offers to apply for the first credit card are tempting to many students. Not only could this create credit problems down the road due to unchecked spending, but some deals could be phony offers designed to access personal information that you talked about.
And we talked about this already.
Fake credit cards. I mean, wow.
Scammers lure students with too good to be true offers. So before you sign up for a credit card on campus, and parents, this is why it's so important to send your child with a credit card that you know is legitimate, you have checked out. Think about what's on that credit card application bill.
I know. Social security number.
Social address.
Birth date.
House, or average income. There's a lot of personal information out there. If you're filling out a form for a credit card and it gets into the wrong hands, you are giving up all of your personal information for somebody to open credit in your name on a legitimate card.
Wow.
Scammers like to send bills to themselves too, so they'll open it up in your name and send the bill to them, so that you never even know it's open. So before you sign up for that credit card, make sure that it is legitimate, and make sure that you can afford the monthly payment. Once you put a balance on there, you are responsible for paying it.
Well, I would think that the scammers would open up an account and then max it, and then they're done.
Sometimes they do.
I mean, why would they pay?
Everybody has a different agenda when you're a scammer, so
Sure.
you never know what their agenda is.
Wow. Interesting. Here's a good one. Too good to be true apartments. It's not hard to jump on a convenient apartment so close to campus, especially if it's advertised affordable rent. I'm going to tell you right now that I have fake rentals all the time as a realtor. That I have a listing that I'm selling the house. Now, we haven't had it recently because the houses sell so fast. But in the past, when you have a bunch of them that are sitting on the market waiting, there were times in the last 15 years where I've had 20 to 30 properties for sale, and all of a sudden there's on Craigslist an ad to rent the house that I'm selling, and people have gotten taken for it.
Scammers like to take listings for real estate properties, whether it's an apartment or a house, and make it a listing of their own. So
Right.
They want you to call them at a price that sounds too good to be true, put a first month's rent down, put first deposit down, and they always have an excuse why you can't see the property. Maybe they're out of town, or something has come up. Before you rent a property, whether it's going to be a house or it's going to be an apartment,
Sure.
make sure that you see it in person. If you can't see it in person, ask for a virtual walkthrough, have somebody in the area drive past it to make sure that it really exists.
Right.
Do your homework.
Yeah, I agree with you. And a lot of times they use the photos that we put on there as realtors, and so they'll see it's a nice layout. And I can understand why people are sending a down payment, because when you get an apartment close to campus for a value, they jump on it, just like anybody else. But again, if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
And you should know what the going rate is in the area. If you find an apartment or a house in the location you want to be in and it's half price of what every other rental is, that should be a big red flag that something's wrong.
Yeah, I agree. Now, we already talked about ID theft. scholarships and grant scams. This one blew me away. I mean, this is absolutely amazing.
You want to be really wary if you receive an unsolicited email or an unsolicited phone call from somebody who can help you, and I say help in quotes, get a scholarship or a grant. Sometimes the scammer will tell you that you can't find these scholarships or grants anywhere but through them. So they will have you fill out paperwork. Sometimes they'll even have you pay a fee to qualify or to get this scholarship or grant. Once you fill out the paperwork with your personal information and or pay them, you'll never hear from them again. So any scholarship or any grant that you are applying for should be publicly available, especially a government grant. If it's out there, there should be information on a .gov website about it. If somebody is leading you to a .com website or a .org website, really do your homework, make sure that it really exists before you go ahead and apply for something like that.
And I think most importantly, go to bbb.org to double check, because you have the information there about legitimate organizations, or at least you have a resource to say, hey, is this company or this organization real?
If you can't find anything, proceed cautiously. There is information that BBB doesn't have, and most of the time it's because we don't have enough information about the organization or the business to export. But really do your homework. Do an internet search. Start at BBB. If you can't find anything on BBB, head on over to trusty Google and type in the name of the organization or the company. See what you can find. If you can't find anything, you're going to have to dig even deeper. If it's a business offering a scholarship, call that business. Make sure that it's legitimate. If it's the government offering a grant, it's going to be tough to get through to the government, but it should be on a government website if it is available.
Sure.
If you can't find it on a government website, it probably doesn't exist. And if you receive this phone call or this email unsolicited, you have never heard of this person, it's coming from a Gmail address or another weird email address, it's likely not legitimate.
Yeah, and you just went right into the next one. Awareness of current scams. College students are college kids. They're going to make mistakes and all that. But you, as parents, we have to instill in them just to verify. Always verify. Inspect what you expect, like you're saying. And that will help them from hitting any of the current spam or scams that happen out there. And yeah, we have to be careful. We always have to look over our shoulders. I think related to the internet and what's going on, really something else. But
we have a great tool out there. It's BBB Scam Tracker.
Yeah.
And not only can you report scams to it, you can also look up to see what scams are going on in your area. So if you had somebody reach out to you via email or a phone call, you can look up that email address, you can look up that phone number, see if anybody else has experienced that scam. And if nobody has and you're pretty sure it's a scam, go ahead and report it to us, because we can't help warn others without the help of the consumers that are out there. We need the data, what's going on in the marketplace. If you're reporting a scam, somebody else is probably experiencing the same scam. So report those scams to us so we can talk about it, Bill.
Hey, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Does the BBB track phone numbers also?
You can put a phone number in on bbb.org/scam tracker, and if we have something matching to it, it'll pop up.
Yeah.
So you need to go to Scam Tracker for that.
Okay.
Not just
but you can't.
Yes.
Because you know how you get these calls all the time?
Yep.
And you know they're going door to door to sell you incredible goods. Oh, that's a Pee Wee Herman thing. Why, just plug Pee Wee Herman. He just died, by the way.
I know.
I know.
I watched him as a kid.
Pee Wee's Playhouse. Oh, the Seattle's man. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the sites you put in the phone number and they want you to pay to figure out what's going on. Some of them. So, but you can go to BBB to check out a phone number.
So I'll tell you how this works. Okay. Head on over to bbb.org/scam tracker.
Yeah.
And then you go to look up a scam.
Okay.
And then there's a trusty drop down there.
Yeah.
And you can type in either the email or the phone number that was used. Those are two of the options that you can look up the scam. You can look it up by business name, you can look it up by website. So if you know the phone number, just choose that in the drop down, put the phone number in, and search it up.
There you go. Oh, I see it. Okay. Awesome. That's cool. How often do I get to use the internet while I'm in the radio? Oh, all the time. Sorry. Hey, let's talk about this. And here's this is a great subject because never did I ever think that the word scam, you got to keep using that word scam, but how it involves your kids' homework and needing help outside of school. And what we're talking about is the BBB tips for if your kid's struggling in school and they need help hiring a tutor. People are getting scammed over this?
There's a homework helper scam out there, and it's really targeted to students who are a little bit older who are looking for help on their own. So usually a parent isn't involved in this one, but it is very complex. And the student, so let's say that I'm a student, I'm looking for help with my homework, and I go online and I find this tutor who is not only willing to help me, they're willing to do my homework for me. All I have to do is pay them.
Isn't that called
to
AI?
do it. Probably something similar. So I have to pay them to do my homework for me. So I pay them, and then they come back and they tell me that they need more money for some sort of reason. Okay, and I refuse to pay them. Then they tell me that if you don't pay me, I'm going to email and call your teachers and let them know that you're cheating.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so they're now extorting you.
So what age is this group of scammers focusing on? Is it primary school age or is it secondary?
Usually it's going to be a child who's a little bit older,
Okay.
who's looking for help on their own. So
11 or 12-year-olds.
probably maybe even a little bit older than that, maybe looking
13.
at middle school,
Okay.
high school, even into college. So be sure that your child knows that. We talk about responsible kids, and there's kids who can do their own homework.
Yeah, they should.
Do their homework on a company that they're looking for help for.
Yeah.
But that scam is out there, so parents be aware. It's called the homework helper scam. And if you are interested in hiring a tutor for your child, we have some great tips. So first of all, you want to know your options that are out there. What type of help does your child need? Does your child need help just in a certain subject? Do they need test preparation? Do they need extra reading help? What type of help do they need? That's going to help narrow down your options for the type of tutor that they need.
And tutors are not a bad thing, by the way, folks. I mean, and tutors are all over the spectrum. And let me tell you what I'm talking about. Having a wife that is a former teacher, special ed teacher, especially, what she's talked about doing is actually helping kids that are AP students, but they aren't as high as they want to get to, or they have some struggles adding that additional AP class to get them into that higher GPA that they need. And they need some outside support because trying to teach your own kids sometimes is a nightmare. And it's not always about the subject exactly, it's how to improve their learning abilities. And it is a process. And I think, I want to say this by the way, I think that's one thing that our schools don't do a good job of doing. Teaching kids how to study, how to prepare for a class, how to schedule your day in order to do that. They just regurgitate information and expect you to recall all that information. But a tutor is really going to help out. And there are kids that they can't grasp trig, they can't grasp Spanish or something like that, and they just need helpful cues to get through that. I mean, for an adult, Excel spreadsheets, good luck with that. You have to dive into it. You've got to do one thing at a time. You've got to learn each thing of it, and over time, you'll become proficient at it. But not just jumping into it.
Every child learns differently.
Absolutely.
And some children, and even adults, some of us learn visually, some of us learn by doing, and there's really not enough time in the day, especially for a teacher who has 20-some kids in class, to really help each child individually with their learning style. So a tutor is a great way to have a helping hand at home, and I kind of look at it as having a mentor in the workplace.
Sure.
We don't know everything.
Yeah.
And a tutor is kind of the same thing. It's your mentor in the workplace. It's for somebody who, you can go to for help. Tutor, exactly the same thing. They might come on a regular basis
Right.
and help,
Sure.
but they are your mentor while
Sure.
you're going to school.
Well, continuing the conversation I had with Terry, coming out as a retired teacher, and she wants to do something different, is coaching. And she says, this is going to be a whole new realm for me. I said, no, it's not. You've been coaching for 26 years. You just called it teaching. Tutoring is coaching. Coaching is tutoring. I've had a business coach. I've had several business coaches. I've had golf coaches. I've had business coaches. And so I think it's important for that. And there are stages in your life where that person can really help you with your growth and your development and seeing outside of the box that you put yourself in. And we put kids in boxes all the time. And sometimes that frees up that mind just to explore and to expand and really, really reach potentials that they may not have ever thought of doing or being.
I think our schools are doing a lot better job at it today than they did when I went to school. When I went to school, everybody was definitely in a box. And,
Yeah.
As a B student, I wasn't allowed to, take an AP class because I wasn't an A student. Well, now those B students can take those AP classes,
Sure.
and they can challenge themselves. Schools are working with different learning styles these days. We've learned more than we did, in the 80s and 90s.
Sure. Well, we didn't have AP classes.
You're dating yourself, Bill.
I know, but we didn't have AP classes. So the question is, are we trying to push children, this is a whole education thing we're going down here, but are we pushing them too hard to achieve more in a shorter period of time?
I agree with that, Bill, but at the same time, I'm a firm believer that these AP classes are free to take in high school, or you have to pay for the testing or
Oh, you
something
do?
like that. I think you have to pay for the
I have
testing.
no idea.
But they're worth college credit. And if you can go into college with 12 free college credits,
Sure.
that's a huge savings for
Yeah.
parents each year. So if your child is responsible and your child wants to challenge themselves, I think it's a great opportunity that the schools are offering these.
What is college credit? $300 a credit?
Oh, I think it's more than that these
$500
days.
a credit?
Something maybe even more than that.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, if you look at a tuition that's UW tuition, what is it, between 20 and 25,000?
A year.
I think per year.
Right.
So per semester, it's $12,000. So
Sure.
a class is roughly what, $1,000,
Yeah.
give or take.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, and
That
it's
is a lot of
it's a
money.
huge savings
Sure.
too.
Yeah.
If your child is ready for it,
Yeah.
you don't want to overwhelm them.
Right, exactly. They still need to be kids first.
And our kids have so much on themselves. They're playing sports, they're working a job, they're trying to get great grades so that they can get scholarships to go to a great school and make a great career.
Sure.
We put a lot of stress on our kids.
Yeah. They go from getting trophies for everything to going to college where they have to qualify. I think we should get rid of the SAT and ACTs. They don't need that. College first forgets that they're a business. And the more students they have come in, the more money they make. The more money they can't make, the lower the cost of education.
Well, I don't think that every college requires you to take an ACT or an SAT anymore post-COVID.
Well, I don't know. I thought they went back to it.
Did they go back to it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
Okay, because I
Yes.
know that you didn't have to report your ACT or SAT score for a few years during the whole COVID thing.
I may know a teacher that has test anxiety.
I'm sure you do know a teacher.
I know other people out there. I'm pretty good with tests. I like doing them and all that stuff. But I have no problem doing them. If you prepare for a test, they're easy sometimes. But I just don't think that an SAT or ACT is really needed anymore. Another soapbox thing. Sorry.
No, I agree with you that there's test takers who are really good,
Sure.
and there's test takers who struggle because their anxiety comes out. It's the same thing. When you get on the radio here, Bill. They may be great in person, but the radio scares them, or the television scares them.
It does. So I'll tell you that from with a business degree that I learned so much more outside of college. What college taught me was the basics, the foundation, and how to find information and how to study. But the real stuff happens outside, which reminds me of Rodney Dangerfield in the movie Back to School.
Yep.
Where he goes back to college. He's like, oh, you don't even know what you're doing out there. You're going to have to do this and then do that.
You learn so much on the job.
You do. You really do. But looking for a tutor, I mean, you need to check references. You need to get a referral first. If you know somebody that's using a tutor, talk to them about it. Talk to the parent. And find out what the interaction is like with the child or the parent.
Friends and family are a great way to get names for tutors. Another way that I like to get a tutor, I got a tutor for my daughter last summer for reading, is I went to her teacher and I asked, who can you refer me to?
Sure.
Happened that she did summer tutoring. She already knew my daughter. My daughter knew her. She felt comfortable with her, and I hired the teacher to come in over the summer months and read with my daughter.
Wow.
So, and if it's not a teacher, maybe it's a specialist at the school, or they have connections in that education field. And once you get those referrals, ask questions and get references too from the tutor that you are hiring. So pick up that phone, call these people that the tutor gives you references for. You should always get 3 references from somebody who you're interested in hiring.
All right.
Call them
and
ask them about their experience with the tutor.
Good idea. I had problems with reading when I was a kid. It was just a slow reader. So it was 5th grade? No, 3rd grade. I went to summer school, which I got laughed at. I remember that as a kid, I got laughed at, and went to Southside School. And I remember the machine. They had this machine that it was a 2 hours, nothing big, but the teacher had this machine that would put a story into a machine that would kick the sentence across at a certain speed, and it would start out slower and pick up speed and pick up speed, and we were told not to try and focus on each single word. Look at the sentence, absorb the sentence, absorb it. And to this day, man, I read fast now. But it was funny back then. I was like, every single word. I didn't want to read. I hated it. I still hated it when I got to college, which is a problem.
Now do you love it?
Yeah, I like to read all the time. I love to just be absorbed with a story in a book. And so it's, I do. I have my type of books that I like, but if I'm getting technical, I really focus in on what's being said. But what did I recently do? Brad Meltzer's book on the attempted assassination of Roosevelt. It was going to be an assassination of Roosevelt, Stalin, and Winston Churchill. It's a historical book, but
that seems heavy.
It was a good book. It was pretty cool, actually. Thinking about how they travel. As the president of the United States, it would take him a week to travel to somewhere. They met in Iran, and he had to take a ship to get over, and then he took a plane over, and it took days to get there. Where today it's like a few hours. Yeah.
You could be in Europe in what, 8 hours?
Yeah, take Air Force One. I'm there. See you, bye. I might even get a nap on the way over here. But we got about 15 minutes left. Include your kiddo in this conversation. As you were saying at the very end there, your daughter knew the teacher, and that is so cool. Some kids aren't going to want to have a tutor. They're not going to want to do extra work. But I think it goes back to the parents and teaching accountability and responsibility again.
Your child needs to be comfortable with the person that they're going to work with.
Yeah.
The more comfortable they are, the more results you're going to see.
Yes.
If they're not comfortable with that person, it's going to be a struggle not only for your child, but also for the tutor too. And if it's not working, you get started and it's not working, it's okay to stop the agreement and just, have a conversation.
Yeah.
And if you need to part ways, start over again and find the right person who's a match for your child.
Seek to understand and stay in curiosity. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
2 great words to live by.
Seek to understand and stay in curiosity. So if you're not feeling good about the relationship, that's okay. But work it out. Talk to them. Find out, why aren't they feeling comfortable? What's the big deal? Well, he smells. Okay, well, that's That's something that we can address maybe. Cotton in your nose or something, I don't know.
But maybe the teacher's just not, connecting with their learning style.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have experience with that learning style, and maybe it is time to part ways.
Yeah.
And agree if that's what you both need to do,
Sure.
because you're both going to be more comfortable. If
Yeah.
it's not working out,
Yeah.
you need to find somebody who is working for your child, because it's a lot of money for a tutor.
Exactly, and if it's not working out, the tutor's not comfortable either, and they're thinking the exact same thing. They're not there for the money. Believe me, they're not there for the money. They know it. It's just like with a job. I've always said I've never fired anybody. They've always fired themselves, because they already knew what was about to happen before it happened, and it was just working that way up. Instead of them just leaving, they drag on, and drag on. But anyway, sorry.
You digress.
I always do. Got about 10 minutes left. I want to talk about a subject that we meant to talk about, I can't remember if it's last week or the week before that, and it's the student loan forgiveness, and the scams that are out there with this. And folks, if you haven't listened to anything all day, listen to this portion, because I think it's really important, because there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Student loan forgiveness.
Yeah.
Student loans have been paused since COVID. And starting in September, interest is going to start accruing on those loans. And in October, you're going to be expected to make a payment on those loans.
The thing I didn't understand is the accrual going to be back from the original stoppage, or is it from that period of time?
That's a good question.
Because that could be a lot of interest.
That could be a lot of interest. I don't have a student loan, so I can't tell you.
Right.
But if it does accrue from that point forward, you're still on a line to make these payments. And bottom line is that you've been payment free for 3.5 years already?
Sure.
And have you been allocating those dollars elsewhere? Let's say now you have the $300 to $500 payment a month. You're expected to make that payment.
Sure.
And scammers know this, and the way that scammers work is they're going to take advantage of the opportunity, and they are going to reach out to you with fake forgiveness opportunities, maybe consolidation.
Right.
They want your personal information. So if somebody reaches out to you unsolicited about a student loan forgiveness opportunity or a consolidation opportunity, you want to make sure that you do your homework before you give them any personal information.
So where do they go to find that out?
Check out the lender on bbb.org.
Okay.
So if you can't find the lender on BBB, the lender may or may not exist. Do an internet search on the lender.
Sure.
Type in the company name, follow it by scam, follow
Sure.
it by customer complaint. See what people have to say about it.
Sure.
If you didn't solicit the communication, you should be very wary that somebody is coming to you, especially if it's a loan forgiveness opportunity. If it's a consolidation opportunity, some of these lenders are shady, other ones are legitimate. You really need to do your homework on them.
Yeah. When in doubt, always pay the bank or the lender that you took your agreement out with. If you get a collection notice, or you have a collector calling you, doesn't mean you have to pay them. You could pay the bank or whoever you have the loan with directly. Because your contract is with the original lender. Just be careful of that. And you're also going to see a lot of these on social media also. And the federal government's actually coming out and really helping with this a little bit in the way of the collection companies and what they're doing. And if everything hits the fan, which I think is going to happen in September, you just wait and see all these people come out of the woodwork. Oh my gosh.
Scammers follow the news, and this is no different. They're going to capitalize on the opportunity, and you as a consumer, you need to know who you're doing business with. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Wow, I've heard that today a few times.
And we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I tell you. But you just have to do your homework. Please, please, please. I don't know how I feel about the forgiveness process in this whole thing. Only because I never had a loan. I was a swimmer, so I had my swimming or my college paid for it and all that. But this is interesting, and I can understand if you've got $100,000 worth of debt sitting there, which is a huge problem for the real estate business, by the way. Student debt is outrageous. It's the only debt that you can't file bankruptcy on.
I did not know that. I don't have student loans,
Right.
so, but I feel the same way that you do, Bill. That I get that money has been going into our economy and making our economy robust because students weren't responsible for paying their student loans. College costs are highly inflated. Students are walking around with, 6 figures in debt. I get it. And where's that happy medium? How can we help without making others who paid for their college
Right.
feel like,
Yeah.
that they weren't in the right place at the right time and still contributing to our economy?
Sure. You may, yeah, there you go. Pay your bills. It was a commitment. You paid for education, now pay for it. Take responsibility for it. And I understand that our social pressures are out there where go to college, go to college, go to college. I'll tell you right now that I'm not one like that. I have one kid that's an electrician, a master electrician in Philadelphia. Then I've got one that's a commercial scuba diver on the other end. And both those boys are surrounded with family members that have advanced degrees, anywhere from being a doctor to MBAs, lawyers, accountants, but that's what they chose. And I don't look at them any differently than anybody else out there. The trades are fabulous. The trades are fabulous. Nursing is fabulous. You don't have to be a doctor. My dad would probably tell you not to be a doctor, to be a PA. That way you don't have all that involvement because medicine is not the same as it used to be. But so responsibility for the school loans, yeah, I got a problem with the debt forgiveness, but I understand what they're trying to do. I just don't. Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity for our kids out there not to have to go into debt too.
Right.
After high school, we have the opportunity to go into the military and serve our country.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to pursue entrepreneurship. There's a lot of kids who have, startup companies already at age 16. What about the 2-year schools, the trade schools?
Yeah.
Go into a 4-year college, but make sure that the job that you want and you're coming out of college can afford to pay that debt that you racked up
Right.
to go to college.
Right.
If you're looking at being an art history major and maybe the salary's not going to cover what you spent for school, maybe it's something that you want to reevaluate.
Oh, sure. Graphic design is the one degree that struggles because you can do that work without having a graphic design degree, and a lot of people do. Hey, we're getting close to the end here. Tiffany Schultz is here with the Southwest Wisconsin's Regional Director of the Better Business Bureau. You can get more information by going to bbb.org, or if you'd like to call them, the phone number will be on that website, or 414-847-6019. Or if you want to ask Tiffany directly, it's T. Schultz with a Z at the end at wisconsin.bbb.org. T. Schultz at wisconsin.bbb.org. Or just go to the Better Business Bureau. You heard about the scam tracker. Check that out. It's a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun. You just go and play with it and see what you see. It'll be interesting.
You can check out those scams that are going on in the marketplace. I do want to update the phone number.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The number you gave, that's my number. That'll come directly to me. But
Oh.
I want you to be able to get help immediately when you call us.
I'm sorry.
And we actually have a team of customer service reps who are ready to answer your phone call. You can actually phone them, you can email them, or you can chat with them on bbb.org. If you want to call them, 414-847-6000, you're going to get somebody immediately who's going to be able to help you. I'm not always at my desk, so like if I'm out at a networking event or if I'm here, Bill, they're going to have to wait for a phone call back, and I don't want anyone to have to wait.
Yeah, I agree, and I apologize.
No
for
problem.
some reason I wrote that down, and I'm like, oh, all right, there you have it. But you can go on the website and even chat with somebody, which is really kind of cool.
You certainly can.
Really
So
pops up.
our chat function is open from about 9 to 4, I believe. And if I head on over to bbb.org right now, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And let's see who pops up. Somebody's going to pop up to help me.
They always pop up.
Oh, it's not 9 o'clock yet, so you got
Oh, they're
2
not
minutes.
working yet?
But down in the lower right-hand corner, there's going to be a pop-up box, and you can chat with somebody in real time.
That's so funny. I love those pop-ups like that.
And it's our customer service reps in Milwaukee. So if you are on an IP address
It's
in
not
the
AI?
state of Wisconsin, nope. If you're on an IP address that's state of Wisconsin,
Uh-huh.
it's going to connect you with our office in Milwaukee. So,
Okay, cool.
so when I'm on here, sometimes I'll be able to see who's actually on chat. Obviously, I pick up the phone and call them if I need them, but
love
you know,
it.
you're not getting somebody across the country. You're getting somebody in Milwaukee who is ready to help you.
That is so cool. Tiffany, thanks for doing this. I love having breakfast with you on the second Monday of every month. And also, your support of the chamber and the interaction that we have is priceless. And thank you so much. Enjoy the friendship that we're developing. You've put some ideas and thoughts into my head that I never would have. I should have talked to you first before buying stuff online.
Don't buy those shoes, Bill.
I won't be doing that anymore. But
You know, I have somebody else that I work with on a regular basis, and he got scammed with a swimming pool. It was a deal that was too good to be true.
oh my gosh. Well, we should talk about Marketplace one day. A Facebook Marketplace, because that's full of scammers.
Not only scammers to sell you something, but scammers to buy your stuff too.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is it still available? What's your phone number? I want to talk to you.
I have shoes that are posted, some soccer cleats that are posted on Facebook Marketplace right now. I don't think the scammers want those, but is this still available? That line kind of drives me crazy.
I know, I hear you. Hey, don't forget, this is all about Cornfest week. Join me on Wednesday for the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show at 11 o'clock. Laura and I will bring you the latest news on educating you on buying, selling, and investing in real estate. Wednesday night is going to be the Cornfest Parade starting at 6 o'clock. I'll be broadcasting live right on Cronky Drive, and it'll be on TV. In fact, we'll be doing it that way. So it should be a lot of fun. Have a great week. Be safe. Enjoy what summer we have left. And and Tiffany, I'll catch you back for Breakfast with Tiffany next month at the same time, second Monday of each month. So until then, have a great morning and catch you next time. See you right back here on the radio. Bye, Sun Prairie.
That would be September 11th.
Sweet.
It's kind
I
of
don't know
scary
about
that
that.
happened 22 years ago.
Oh, I know, right? Man, my file for you is getting thick.
It's getting thick, huh?
Yeah.
It's only been a few months.
I know, but it's good.
We've covered a lot of ground.
Bye, Facebook. See